Here we're doing section 6.2, problem number 7 from the book. It asks us to factor this trinomial completely. Now, all of our factoring techniques that we've learned with trinomials require us to have a squared term and x, or a to the power 1 term and a constant term, which we don't have here. So that tells us that we need to look for a greatest common factor first. So we go through and find the greatest common factor. So 4 can be split into 2 and 2. 28 can be split into 2 and 14. 14, sorry, all these 2's are prime, obviously. 14 can be split into 2 and 7, both of which are prime. 40 can be split into 2 and 20. 2 is prime, 20 is not. 20 can be split into 2 and 10. 2 is prime, 10 is not. 10 can be split into 2 and 5, both of which are prime. We then need to look at our variable terms. So technically, before we look at the variable terms, we need to find our GCF of the numbers. So we have a 2, a 2, and a 2. So our GCF is going to have a 2 in it. We then have another 2, another 2, and another 2. So it has 2 2's in it. Now we have no more numbers here, so we know that we're done. It does not matter what else is here as long as you check all the numbers in one of your terms. You then want to look at your variables, and we're looking for the smallest power of x. So we have x to the 5th, x to the 4th, x to the 3rd. So we know that we're also going to have an x to the 3rd. It's the smallest power of x. So our GCF here is going to be 2 times 2, which is 4, x to the 3rd. So now we need to factor out our GCF here. So we have 4x to the 5th. If we take out 4, we're left with 1. So it's 4x to the 3rd. That's our GCF. We're multiplying by what's left. This takes out the whole number. We have x to the 5th, x to the 3rd. So what's left is x squared. Now we have a minus 28. So when we take out a 4, these two 2's, we have the 7 and the minus here. So we have minus 7. And then we need to take out an x to the 3rd. We're left with x. And we need to factor out a 4 from this one. So we take out these two 2's that we have circled. We're left with 2 and 5. That's 10. When we take out an x to the 3rd, there are no x's. So we factored out a GCF, always the first thing we look for, and then we're left with a trinomial. Trinomial, we do know how to factor. So we bring down our greatest common factor, 4x to the 3rd. And we know we're going to get 2 binomials. We put an x in each one of these. We look at the 3rd term, we see that it's positive, so we know that both of these have to have the same sign, and this is negative, so both of these have to be negative. We then are looking for factors of 10 that give us negative 7, where both factors are negative. So 10 can be negative 1 and negative 10, or negative 2 and negative 5. There are no other factors. Negative 1 and negative 10 is negative 11. Negative 2 and negative 5 is negative 7, which is what we need. So 2 and 5 are the numbers that we fill in here. The bigger number always goes first. So to factor this trinomial, we have to pull out a greatest common factor and then factor the remaining trinomial into binomial.